now you're seeing just a massive shift in the Democratic Party. We've discussed quite a bit about the collapsing Democratic establishment.
Now all of those wounds in the Democratic Party have reopened.
You're not getting signs of life from Chuck Schumer. The guy's like 900 years old.
This is just the beginning.
It's going to get so much worse. Chuck Schumer's days are numbered.
Brutal.
It's over.
Well, so have you heard of this thing called Democratic Fight Club?
I've worked at Coca-Cola for 21 years.
We're delivering Dr. Pepper from our brand new facility in Dallas, Texas.
We're really proud to still make Pepsi products in America.
You don't need a college degree to work here, but I put 4 kids through college by working here.
This is a great place to work with great people and great American brands.
Grocery stores, convenience stores, restaurants, they all depend on us.
We deliver great paying jobs.
We deliver beverages people love.
We deliver for our community.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
Keep the faith, hold the line, and own the libs.
It's time for our main event.
Good Tuesday to you. Welcome back to the Ruthless Variety Program. We trust everybody is having a very happy holiday season here as we inch nearer and nearer to Christmas and the end of the year. I am Josh Holmes, along with Comfortably Smug, Michael Duncan, and John Ashbrook, left to right across your radio dial as always. Fellas, a lot to discuss here this week. One of the things that's jumped off the page, we've discussed quite a bit about the collapsing Democratic establishment and this emergence of this progressive left that is just a wild.
I hope we get credit for calling this, because like 2 months ago, I'd say, is when we really started picking up on this.
Yeah.
And congratulations to our listeners, viewers on YouTube.
You're ahead of it.
You were way ahead of the curve.
Yeah. When you look at the prospects of what they hope for in these midterms, what they're really hoping for is obviously a takeover of Congress. They want the House of Representatives, and they want to just sort of push the sky back up in terms of the Senate, remake what that landscape looks like, see if you can steal a seat or two and get control of Congress. And we know what that looks like when it comes to a Trump administration because we experienced it.
Yep.
Right? 2018, you lose the House. Impeachment.
Their one job becomes just impeachment.
Right. And so they've put an awful lot of stock into trying to formulate not only their message, but their leadership and who their candidates ultimately are, because all of their hope rests within taking over majorities to change the narrative, the dynamic within government itself, to investigate the hell out of the Trump administration.
Yeah, but some of those internal disagreements within the Democratic caucus were frozen in time there during the shutdown, I think. Again, a shutdown that was initiated by Chuck Schumer because his leadership position was already threatened.
Yep.
And so at that time, during the shutdown, over a month, you didn't have as many of those discussions. But now that we're past those off-year elections in Virginia and New Jersey, and the shutdown is over, now all of those wounds in the Democratic Party have reopened.
Yes, and obviously the election of Mamdani and the figure that is Mamdani within the Democratic Party gives the progressive left, which, you know, I even hesitate to call it the progressive left because it's
left.
It's just
the radical
lunatic
left
stuff, right?
It's the radical left. And I mean, when we say it's partly Mamdani, but also you don't even need to go that far. Just right here in the neck of the woods, you've got Jay Jones, who's multiple times said he wants to kill Republicans and their children deserve to die. And Democrat voters are like, that's the guy from me.
Like,
and he wins. He's elected attorney general.
So the message to the win at all costs portion of the Democratic Party is you got to go placate that progressive left. I mean, for years and years in politics, both right and left was, okay, our furthest reaches on both sides don't have any other place to go. We need to win that 51% majority-making center-right, center-left coalition and then back off backwards to try to make sure our base is happy with it and they can turn out, and that's the way you won midterms. This changed in the Trump era, clearly with the Republican Party, but now you're seeing just a massive shift in the Democratic Party where they were used to looking at states like Texas, and a state that's always been a pipe dream. We've talked about this a lot. Always a pipe dream for Democrats. They're like, well, demographics tell us. And they always come up short, but they always throw a gazillion dollars at it.
They launched Battleground Texas over a decade ago.
Right.
Hilarious.
Because they were going to turn it into a purple state. How's that going for you?
How's that going for you? Right? But then they fielded candidates like Beto O'Rourke, which captured the attention of this progressive left, but had the veneer of a member of Congress who could sort of satisfy that middle road Democrat and get a lot of money into that campaign to take on Ted Cruz, and lo and behold, he loses. And then beclowns himself and becomes a national joke. I think you had a part in that.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's a furry, and people hold him accountable for that.
Right, exactly. But then they turn to somebody like Colin Allred, somebody who they sort of identify as somebody who portrays, at least to a center of the electorate, to be a normal human being. Somebody who's not a clinically insane individual in and of himself, even if he votes with the Democratic Party all of the time. And that was sort of this new thing for Texas. Well, what happened on Monday is that this guy, Colin Allred, who is thought to be a formidable challenger for a Senate seat that is held by United States Senator John Cornyn in midst a big Republican primary, this was thought to be a problem that somebody like Colin Allred could unite Democrats within the state of Texas and maybe make a play for this state. He announces Monday he's not going to run any longer. He'd formed a campaign, raised money, been campaigning, doing all of these things, and had the support of Chuck Schumer and all of those folks.
Well, because he's the exact profile you'd want in a Democrat in Texas. You know, a guy who has a more moderate streak in his public persona. He's a former NFL football player.
Yeah.
This is a guy who not could just, unite Democrats in Texas, but also bleed into that center-right part of the electorate. He's from the Dallas suburbs. If you're like a Highland Park country club Republican, you could see a situation in which some of those people who are uncomfortable in the Trump era might vote for a Democrat like Colin Allred.
Yep. Enter Jasmine Crockett.
Born on a mountaintop of green money.
So Jasmine's one of our favorites on the program, as you well are acquainted, but she announces that her intent is to also seat the United States Senate. It was thought of in some point as an aftermath by the Democratic establishment and all their stenographers in the mainstream media. Like, of course, somebody like Jasmine Crockett can't compete for the state of Texas. You can't win when you're in the center. How the hell are you going to be a left-wing lunatic and do that? Well, turns out you can't win a primary in Democratic politics today. It's for the same reason that Plaskett guy in Maine, we did like 3 shows on this dude about just how clinical, the Nazi tattoo that he like covered up, and he's got all this other shit going on. He's just a literally certifiably insane human being.
Right.
That didn't knock him out. Chuck Schumer and his super PAC going after him, that didn't knock him out. Like Democratic voters, primary voters in Maine are like, no, we still like that guy. And he's probably going to win that primary. He's going to get his doors blown off by Susan Collins. But they love him. Same now is true in Texas. They thought they had a viable shot. They were really working on it. And all of a sudden, Jasmine Crockett, the craziest of the crazy within the Democratic Party, is like, no, I want it. And they're like, okay,
Yeah.
it's yours.
Well, they still have James Tellerico, I think, is the other Democrat in that primary. And now that guy is like your moderate choice.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's a lunatic, too.
That was like the OnlyFans connoisseur that we had discussed. But the point was with this situation is that Democrats in D.C., they're trying to set the table. We're basically of the conclusion anybody but Jasmine Crockett gives us a shot. Maybe if the political winds blow, maybe if the Republican primary produces a result that is offensive to some Texans, like this would be the majority-making seat. This is how Chuck Schumer returns to the majority leader position in the United States Senate, which is their ultimate goal. Well, Jasmine Crockett shows up. She simply announces her candidate, and now it's over. The guy's gone. She's basically with James Tallarico, but it's not really a race. Democrats are going to vote for this guy. And it seems to us that if you're looking at this, it's indicative of this much larger picture that we're seeing, which is the grasp that Chuck Schumer has on the Democratic Party. And to the extent that there are any sort of like middle-of-the-road donor types, they have mortgaged whatever their middle-of-the-road sensibilities might be in taking the lessons out of Virginia and Jay Jones and Mamdani and New York City that we're going to find the craziest fucking people we can find, and we're going to run them against you. And we are absolutely convinced that the center left is coming with us because they hate Trump. Don't you think?
That's the thing is, so immediately, I'd say in like the 48 hours after the election where Trump won, you saw Democrats being like, whoa, maybe we did go a little bit far. Maybe we were a bit too crazy. We were like, yeah, we want trans people in libraries reading to kids and girls' bathrooms. They're like, okay, we went a bit far. They got out of that real fast. And then they saw these wins in blue states. They're like, oh, well, if Mamdani wins in New York City, then we can win in Texas with a Mamdani candidate, right? Like their lesson went right in the opposite direction. They're not going for the center of the electorate. They're just trying to get... They sense that the energy is coming from, I wouldn't even call it grassroots. It's just lunatics. It's just absolute lunatics. It's unwell individuals.
Yeah.
They see any signs of life from there because here's the problem is you're not getting signs of life from Chuck Schumer. The guy's like 900 years old. You know, when he shows up and he speaks at these events, when he's at the podium, there's no energy. There's no enthusiasm. The guy, you can tell, is just fighting for his job. He's like, I just want to have my office tomorrow.
Totally.
You know? He has that sick desperation, and that's why they're able to drag him around.
It's 100% true. But like, just to give you a little primer and a reminder of something we dealt with Jasmine Crockett just last week, recall this little clip. This is a different one than we've played last week, but this is her dealing with Lee Zeldin and some accusations that she made. This is how insane these people are. Clip one.
Congresswoman, it wouldn't be a conversation with us if I didn't quickly put you on the spot on something. You made a little bit of news last week when you mistakenly accused Lee Zeldin and another Republican
I didn't
accepting money from Jeffrey Epstein, but it was a different Jeffrey Epstein according to the financial records. Do you want to... I don't want to give you the opportunity to amend that. And
I have no amendments. When I was on the floor, for those that don't know how it works, basically they decided to bring this privilege motion up, and they decided that they wanted to kick Stacey off of her committees because Stacey had received Stacey Plaskett because she had received a donation from Jeffrey Epstein. I had maybe 20 minutes. We researched the FEC, and because I like to speak with specificity, that's kind of what comes with being an attorney. I made clear that there was a Jeffrey Epstein. They knew on the other side that I did not have time to actually pull up and actually research.
Know that.
Especially since
they did
that particular one that Lee Zeldin got up in an uproar about was specifically out of the New York area. We know that he was out of that area. So, and this obviously was not done post Jeffrey Epstein's life. So I made sure that I said a Jeffrey Epstein.
Insinuate
well, that clears it all up.
I absolutely was insinuating that it could be possible. That is true.
Oh my god.
That is so awesome where she was like, also, as an attorney, what, you're irresponsible enough to just say lies? You're like, I had only 20 minutes to come up with some bullshit, so how dare you be mad at me? It's your fault.
She goes, I like to speak with specificity. Also, I don't regret saying the wrong Jeffrey Epstein.
Dude, just to be very clear, what happened was she went on the United States House of Representatives floor and accused Lee Zeldin, the EPA administrator, of accepting contributions from Jeffrey Epstein. That's directly in the context of a debate about Jeffrey Epstein, the pedophile who killed himself in prison. That was the context of all of that. It wasn't like she just decided to throw Jeffrey Epstein. It was a debate about the Jeffrey Epstein files and about this Plaskett woman who had been texting back and forth and whether Republicans were going to throw her off committees because she had this relationship trying to sink Trump because of her correspondence with Jeffrey Epstein. She shows up and says, yeah, well, Trump's own administration has taken money from Jeffrey Epstein. And people are like,
but it's a Jeffrey Epstein. It's like under pressure.
Like
it's
all Jeffreys are the same.
It's just an a Jeffrey Epstein.
But this is the point in that you can't take that. Like, that's not for serious people. That's not a serious discussion.
No.
I will say one thing. I like your indignation where you're like, she went on the House floor and said, it's like, dude, that's like a zoo, bro. This is not the Senate floor. There's no rules. It's the House
tried
floor.
my very best. I tried my very best to operate with decorum.
This august body.
I mean, I take enough shit for shitting all over those guys, and I tried my very best, and you still called me out on it. It's unbelievable. Listen, House folks, that's probably the best you're going to get out of me, but it is what it is, right? And like, this lady's not a serious person. And so it goes to this larger conversation that we've been having about if you are willing as a party leader, when you know the entirety of your agenda and that of your entire Democratic base rests on your success in midterm elections, boy, oh boy, do you work hard to make sure that you have candidates who can win them. And Chuck Schumer's done that over the years. Tried to play in Republican primaries, tried to box out qualified Democratic progressive candidates because they wanted somebody who could appeal to the middle of the electorate. Now in Texas, he's in a situation where he's like, no, I'm going to have the biggest lunatic go because I don't have any power to stop it. So you take a look at this Punch Bowl article that came out, and all of a sudden it starts to make more sense.
Right.
It's not just the grassroots, folks.
Right.
It's not the grassroots that is having problems with Chuck Schumer and Democratic establishment. If you look at this, just 6%. Punch Bowl does this poll of staffers on Capitol Hill. Just 6% of senior Democratic staffers chose Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer as the most effective leader.
That's insane.
In Congress. Hold on.
Yeah, it gets better. It really gets better. You aren't going to believe who they say is the best leader in Congress. Democrat staffers.
When asked which of the big four, and this is only between the four leaders, the Speaker of the House, Majority Leader of the Senate, Minority Leader of both bodies, four people, 54% of senior Democratic aides chose Thune.
Think about that.
That's brutal.
I mean, what a rejection of Schumer.
That's the thing is if Democrat aides are like, it's crystal clear to them that the Republican leaders are actually moving the ball and dunking on them. Like, that's brutal. That's brutal. That explains all these problems that we're talking about. Like, let alone, like, Jasmine Crockett has zero respect for Chuck Schumer. That's obvious. The squad's got zero respect for Chuck Schumer. That's obvious. But when you're talking to Democrat staffers and they're like, he's getting run around the Republicans are steamrolling this guy, that's a tough look.
Dude, 13% of Democrats said Mike Johnson. So Mike Johnson got twice as many Democrats as Chuck Schumer.
The guy whose job it is to inflame them the most. They're like, no, he's twice as good.
He's doing a good job.
He's twice as good. So, but what this does is, look, we've talked about inside the Beltway mentality. There is no better example of inside the Beltway mentality than Capitol Hill itself. And that is where the establishment resides within the legislative body. If those people are telling you Chuck Schumer's days are numbered.
Brutal.
It's over.
Well, so have you heard of this thing called Democratic Fight Club? Have you heard of this thing?
But what is that?
Okay, so Fight Club, this is hilarious. So you've got Tina Smith, you've got Chris Van Hollen, Chris Murphy.
Oh, I have heard of this.
Chris Murphy, obviously, because he wants Chuck Schumer's job.
Yeah.
And then you've got like Bernie and Elizabeth Warren. This is their fight club in the United States Senate, and they're calling on the DSCC, the Democratic Senatorial Committee, to not play in any Democratic primaries.
Interesting.
Which is again telling you another thing in this larger discussion.
Wait,
right?
Bernie's part of a group that's calling on no fiddling in primaries.
Well, they don't want
because they want to support the like Looney Tunes, and they don't want Chuck Schumer's super PAC to go in. They want to
raise. We had this in the Republican side too.
Yeah.
They want to raise millions of dollars from the outside to try to beat candidates that they deemed to be the establishment, that are arguably the most electable amongst them. But they want to ensure that the committees can't fight back against them.
Right. They want Chuck Schumer and the Democratic establishment to unilaterally disarm in this fight in these primaries, right? And so, like, I just say that to say this is just the beginning.
It's going to get so much worse.
All of these Democratic primaries, all these Senate candidates are going to be asked, should Chuck Schumer be leader of the party? Should you win in the midterms? And they're going to have to answer that question. They're going to have to answer it all spring, all summer, and all fall.
You're right, dude.
The last piece that I will mention before we go to break, if you think that it's impossible for Jasmine Crockett to be a United States Senator from Texas, you're fucking nuts. I'll just remind you of a guy named Doug Jones, who was briefly a senator from the great state of Alabama. You didn't think it was possible to elect a Democrat in this day and age in Alabama? It was. in large part because the candidate selection process that Republicans went underneath in their own primary problems, right? There is a primary between the sitting Senator John Cornyn, Wesley Hunt, and Ken Paxton.
Yeah.
And that is already getting very, very ugly. This is a topic for another day here on the Ruthless Friday program. We're going to break some of this down because it has a huge component of what ultimately becomes of the United States Senate. But just remember, before you just laugh all of these things out the door,
Yeah.
it's nothing's over until it's over. When we come back, we are going to get into a discussion about your questions of the day. We're going to leave you with one discussion of our own, which is our question of the day in terms of Crockett.
Yeah.
What's her campaign slogan going to be?
I can't wait.
Is it like it's any Jeffrey Epstein? any Jeffrey will do. You tell us when you like and subscribe to the Ruthless Variety program. We read all of your responses and get back to you the very next episode. When we come back, we're going to get to your comments from last week's episode right after this.
America's demand for energy is rising rapidly, and at a time when American families can least afford an energy shortage. But for decades, critical energy projects have been blocked, limiting our access to reliable, affordable American energy and putting America's energy dominance at risk. The solution is obvious. Overhaul the broken energy permitting process. Make it faster and simpler. Innovation, a strong workforce, abundant oil and gas. We have it all right here in the USA. Let's put America first and political agendas last. We can power our own country, create thousands of good-paying American jobs, and unleash American energy to be bigger and better than ever before. Because when America builds, America wins. Read API's plan to secure America's future at permittingreformnow.org. Paid for by the American Petroleum Institute.
Why was the government shut down? Because big insurance greed knows no limits. The same insurance companies pocketing billions in profits were demanding billions more in taxpayer-funded subsidies again, putting millions of families at risk, shutting down our government. Now, unless they get their billions, the big insurance companies are threatening to raise your premiums even more, putting greed and profit before patients. It's time to hold them accountable.
Okay, welcome back to the program. We're going to get to your comments here in a minute. Want to let you know, it's an exciting time around the program where we get a little innovative with our episodes. And around the holidays, we like to take questions. We always like to take questions. That's why we do a question of the day. But we're going to open up the floor a little bit. And we're going to do at least one episode where we're just taking your questions. Politics, pop culture, animal fighting.
Long
fellas.
requested because folks have been like, when is the Ruthless Q&A coming? And we're over 500 episodes at this point, 5 years deep in this. People have been asking for years. Finally, we'll deliver.
Well, and people might have a lot of questions just about the show itself and like why we're on camera with a blind guy every episode, stuff like that.
Things like that.
And how I've overcome the challenge.
Totally. So, but make sure to put those things in there. We're going to be flagging them throughout the next week or so. And we're going to answer as many as we can in the form of a full program. So give it some thought. Anything you ever want to ask the fellas, we're going to tackle them. And we're not going to dodge tough questions, by the way. I'm looking forward to the hard ones.
Yeah.
I want the harder the better, the shittier the better. Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. So our question of the day from last Friday, Fun Time Friday, was pertaining to the truck. Which Smug had some hard opinions about.
The post office, they deserve it.
What drug was the designer of the new postal truck on when he designed that vehicle? Remember, that's what the vehicle looked like. For our audio-only listeners, it's like a Pope Mobile, except on crack or a crystal meth. It's unthinkable design, and it's cost a... something like $618 billion. So it was
$6 billion for, no, it was like $3 billion for $600. Essentially $5 million a truck. Yeah. $5 million. Right. You could have had a Rolls Royce drop off your packages, but that's what the USPS has given us.
So it hasn't worked out real well. We want to read your comments on that. To start, we always start with the voice.
Okay, first one comes from Sarah Rudolph, who writes, "No drug needed. TDS is just that powerful all on its own.
Amazing.
It impacts basic brain functioning to the point where good becomes evil, evil becomes good, and basic car design becomes offensive."
That's so good. I
like
love
that.
What do we got, Dunks?
This is from Stixy67.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
That's for the kids to go crazy.
Yeah, the 6-7 thing? Yeah.
Oh, boy.
They write, the new postal vehicle design engineers thought they were taking 10 milligram edibles when they actually took 250.
That's fair.
They suddenly had the current design on paper after watching Pixar Cars 1, 2, and 3.
That's good.
It's really good.
I like that.
Great comment. Smug, what do we got?
Comment 3 is from John Layton, and John writes, "The new postal trucks are even funnier when you realize my rural post office in a northern cold snowy climate got one of these." Oh, he did get one. "And I asked about it in the parking lot when I had to go in for a package. The workers just started laughing and told me that it was delivered to them, but there was no way to charge it." Dude, that is
Hilarious.
Right.
What a scandal.
No plug-in cables, no charging station, nothing. So it's just a parked lead weight in a parking lot to look stupid like a platypus. That's amazing.
It does look like a platypus.
It does.
Wow.
That is such a good description.
This is a great comment.
$5 million, and all it can do is sit in the park. That's like government at its best.
John
That's it.
Layton, what a fantastic comment. That's so good. All right, you're not going to want to go anywhere because when we come back, good friend of the program, Mary Katharine Ham, joins us next. Well, we want to welcome one of our absolute favorites back to the program. You've seen her and you've loved her many, many times. You know her from Fox News and her podcast, Getting Hammered. Mary Katharine Ham. How are you?
Hello. How you doing?
We're great. We're great. It's been a couple of months.
I haven't seen you guys since we became like colleagues.
Yeah, I know.
Look at us.
Is that
Has
right?
it been that long?
Yeah.
Really? Since July? Wow.
It's been a while.
Man.
Or I haven't been on. I've seen you guys, but I haven't been on.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job.
Thanks.
I always love your commentary.
I appreciate
And
it.
occasionally we share a panel.
We do.
We share a panel from time to time.
Yeah.
Which
Give
is
the people
tough.
what they want.
Yeah, well, it's hard because you got to, in those panels, you got to try to find disagreement. Mm-hmm. When you got MK on there, it's hard to find. Mm-hmm. It's hard to find. Well, listen, I want to get into a whole bunch of different things. But last week on the program, we covered in some great detail an issue that I know that you've talked about on Fox and elsewhere about this Somali fraud situation that we've got going on.
It seemes pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
seems
it's
pretty bad.
There were a million reasons to be disappointed with Minnesota, Minneapolis.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Even the way that Holmes was talking about last week, where he was like, "Man, we lost our QB. Everything is miserable. Could things get worse in Minneapolis?" And then here we are.
Well, it could. I will say 31 donut on the old Washington Commandees helped the overall morale.
Yeah.
But this sucker still stings. I mean, let's play clip 2 and then let's do a little analysis on that.
Fraud investigators are finding in Minnesota is growing by the day. Kelly Loeffler, who leads the Small Business Administration, says in the 2 days her agency has been investigating the state, they've uncovered at least $1 million in PPP fraud just 2 days in. Several of the whistleblowers in Minnesota have also told lawmakers they believe the total amount of fraud could total up to more than $8 billion. Governor Tim Walz, who is up for re-election, is under fire for all of this happening under his watch. But he says they have paused these programs. They've brought in outside auditors to get an idea of how far-reaching this fraud was. So they're taking steps to keep it from happening again. And he's defending his management of the state while also taking shots at Republicans and the president.
Okay.
And in spite of the headwinds we're up against, Minnesota ranks economically, economic growth, happiness, number of people insured, education levels, near the very top.
I don't even know.
That's an incredible answer.
Well, the economic growth from the fraud that is equal to the GDP of a small country.
May also be related to the happiness quotient.
Yeah, that's right. When you take $8 billion out of the pockets of taxpayers and put them into your own pocket, it tends to make people pretty happy. What's your take on this whole thing?
It's how can people put up with this?
Yep.
And how, look, by the way, the New York Times reporting on it is like, thanks. This would have been great information to have in 2024.
Yeah, totally.
And I appreciate all of the alternative media sources that did report on this. All the ones you are told by the New York Times are trash. They actually knew this and had this information. And there's no way that these public officials didn't know.
Right.
At this level, there's absolutely no way. And the reason that they did nothing is A, because they love the slush fund.
Yep.
And B, because they're afraid to say anything because this is marginalized fraud.
Yeah.
Marginalized community of fraud.
That's good.
That's the problem.
It's a constituency. It's a core constituency for somebody like Governor Walz, who's just an absolutely horrible human being, in my view. But Democrats have tried to defend this a little bit, and this just happened on Sunday. You guys got to see this. Clip 3.
Of the 87 people charged, all but 8 are of Somali descent. And that has added to the spotlight being put specifically on your community. Why do you think this fraud was allowed to get so widespread?
Well, I want to say, this also has an impact on Somalis because we are also taxpayers in Minnesota.
What an incredible. So first off, what's hilarious is when Margaret Brennan says, on your community, is she referring to Somalis in Minnesota, or is she referring to fraudsters? Because there's still questions about how Ilhan Omar even got here, the pretenses of how she obtained her visa to begin with. But then to try to flip this and be like, oh, I think the real issue here is, there's Somali taxpayers. Way to just try to dodge the issue. We're not talking about $8 billion, which, like MK said, it's becoming increasingly a question of like, okay, so where are the officials in this state on this subject? Did they know? Are they allowing it? Did they feel it was politically expedient for them to be a part of this and allow it? And see, it's just like, well, essentially, it's like a giant walk-around money fund. Right. It's like get reelected by giving this group of fraudsters money to pass around.
It seems like an easy and good thing to say would be like, that's really bad.
Yeah, it's not difficult. Profile and courage, right?
Yeah, like
Don't love that.
When Enron happened and Arthur Andersen, it wasn't like people went on TV to be like, what about all the law-abiding accountants out there?
That's good.
Great point.
That's good.
It totally is. But it's also indicative, I think, of this larger radicalization within the Democratic Party, where you've got these folks like Tim Walz and the larger Democratic establishment that have basically sold out to what this is, right? I mean, you've got Ilhan Omar, you have the Michigan problem, you've got these sort of extremists off the left-hand side where they just rather pretend like there's no problem here whatsoever than address any accountability. But like increasingly in the Trump years, you have this center-left coalition that is like along for the ride. They're totally good with it. Like, can you imagine being in the state of Minnesota, being a reasonably successful, illiterate human being, and looking at this situation and being like, yeah, I mean, I think they're just doing the best they can. I mean, this is definitely a government that's representing my interests, right?
It's embarrassing. It should be embarrassing.
It should be.
It's not embarrassing. I assume that this was not the abundance the guys were talking about when they put forth that
Maybe it
idea.
was.
The idea was that government should work, which I was like, oh, cool. I've thought that since I was 12. Glad to have you. And now this is what you get. And they do make excuses for it. They go on national TV and they're like, well, what you going to do? COVID, that's not an excuse.
Right.
It's not an excuse.
So we covered those USPS, the new trucks, right? Billions of dollars appropriated for these new electric, mail carrier vans, and they made 600 of them.
618.
618.
Yeah.
Stacey Abrams opens a bank account with $100, and suddenly she gets a $1 billion from the EPA to put in convection ovens in Section 8 housing, and you start to get the sense that like abundance isn't the plan.
Convection ovens are not expensive.
Yeah, right.
You're not $1 billion.
When the government has to pay for them, they sure are.
You get the idea that like they're actually totally fine with fraud and graft.
Yeah.
That actually fraud and graft is sort of central to their political project.
And the fraud and graft is not the worst part. I mean, that article that came out 2 weeks ago quoting law enforcement sources who credibly claim that this money is going back to Somalia through al-Shabaab. Yeah. I mean, that this is not only fraud from the American taxpayers, it's actually American tax dollars going to fund a terrorist outfit that wants to just murder all of us. I mean, that's terrifying. That takes Stacey Abrams' ovens to a next level.
Yeah.
Omar notably did not deny that flatly on Brennan. She was like, well, if it's happening, it'd be the FBI's fault for not catching it.
Yeah, I mean, basically.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's the upshot. No responsibility.
The more cynical side of me thinks this is kind of like an extension of a failed strategy that the left has had for a while, where they tried to basically balkanize the electorate, where they're like, these are black women voters. We want to juice the turnout there. These are this group. They would break down basically the United States by demographic and just play off of demographics, essentially just divide and conquer. And they had success with this for a number of years. And then we saw the greatest failure in their face when Trump got reelected, where all these groups who they had banked on, they're like, oh, Latinos will always support us, black males will always support us. All these groups, they lost a tremendous amount of ground to Trump. But they're still trying to run back that playbook. And so you see this, to me, it strikes me as this is the same playbook, because they felt like when you say the Michigan problem, or here in Minneapolis, you saw their mayor being like, I eat Ethiopian food and I've learned to speak Ethiopian, please vote for me. Yeah. And he tried to use the tribal warfare going on between various Somali groups as a way to get elected. And it worked, because the thing is that Democrats have essentially turned their game plan into divide and conquer among ethnicities and now even tribal lines in Somalia, they want to allow this fraud to be like, listen, we will pay this group off to support us, and it's just the most cynical way to view politics.
And through all these institutions, it's not just PPP and this fraud program that's happening in Minnesota, but think about all of the manufactured outrage, with Doge, right? In this NGO industrial complex,
yeah, they were desperate. They were very afraid that somebody would find something.
An entire cottage industry built on taking a government money, taxpayer money, through the government and into these slush funds that were funding things that no one ever voted for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and beyond just the stealing of taxpayer money, these libs who are supposed to care about this stuff, there were kids who are not fed because you're stealing the money for feeding the kids. There are kids who, with autism, who needed treatment and would have gotten things had you not stolen this money. There were homeless not being housed.
Right. Compassionate.
Very compassionate.
Very compassionate.
And they're going to point at me and be like, see, she's the mean one.
Yeah,
I didn't steal nothing from nobody.
We're the problem, because we just want to do the basic balance sheet deal on it.
And I mean, also another thing that I've really noted about this situation is you have these newly transplanted Somalians who were put in Minneapolis, and whenever any questions were asked of them, even by police or anything, they'd say, this is extremely racist. They've already picked up on the left's buzzwords of here's the racism card. You can't ask me any questions. You have to leave me alone. I'm right. I may have stolen things. I may have done wrong. But if I say racism, then you're supposed to get scared and leave me alone.
Well, that was the basis of the New York Times article, which was there were some well-meaning people, officials, that were in charge of trying to grant this fraud grant, basically, and were intimidated out of doing it, in large part because the groups were like, well, we're just going to call you racist and we're going to do a bunch of earned media. And they were like, all right, I don't need all of that.
Well, I think it's interesting that the New York Times has reported on this in multiple occasions. And you know what we always say on the show, that the New York Times and the mainstream media do not attack a Democrat unless another Democrat stands to benefit. And I don't believe for a second that the New York Times has all of a sudden fired all the Democrats who work there. And so what I think is that they are trying to push this sect of their party out ahead of 2028.
Really?
They're trying to move their party back to the middle so that they can reclaim part of the electorate they lost in droves in 24.
Well, it's a bit of a twofer because they've done this one and the immigration story this week. And I was like, what's with the immigration story? Why are we telling the truth 6 years later, 4 years later?
Also, information would have been helpful yesterday, right?
Important.
I mean, it's got
So it turns out there was a crisis at the border. I don't know if you guys knew that.
When I saw them use that terminology, it really did strike me. I was like, wait a minute. I had to search New York Times crisis at the border where they're saying this is not a crisis at the border, but the fact that they have flipped on it, I think, Ashbrook, you're dead on it.
They were warned. So for those of you who didn't follow this story, there was a story in the New York Times this week about how the Biden administration was warned about the crisis that would ensue if they pursued the sort of border policies that they were attempting to pursue, and it was summarily ignored by the Biden administration. And there's, of course, documentation to this effect, all of which is fine and good a full calendar year after Joe Biden has left office. What would have been sort of helpful is in the first couple of years before 25 million people got over that border, that somebody said something about
Well, and just the absolute gall that you do the switcheroo with Biden and Kamala, and then her first ad out the gate, if you recall, was how that they had fought to secure the border, right? And like, where was the New York Times during all of that with a fucking fact check? Nowhere?
Yeah. Nowhere.
It also turns out you didn't have to pass that Senate package that they told us about.
It turns out.
Yeah.
It turns
New
out
York
that
Times admits that in there. They're like, so the numbers did go down without passing the Senate thing.
It's incredible.
Look at that.
So, but speaking of Biden, we got just anytime he shows up, we feel like a necessity. Kind of a nostalgia.
I always say, get that man behind a mic. You know? I look at him and I say, put him on a stage.
It's kind of a nostalgia play here at the Ruthless Variety program because, you know, we got started during this era, and I think we probably led 500 shows with some form of what you're about to see here with clip 4.
We just have to get up. As long as we keep the faith, summon hope, and get back up and remember who in the hell we are. We're the United States of America. That's who we are.
Huh?
We're the U.S.
It's a stutter.
Dude, just do it one more time. Here it is.
As long as we keep the faith, summon hope, and get back up and remember who in the hell we are. We're the United States of America.
What?
That's who we are.
Oh.
We're the U.S.
Bro, so this is the thing. So the Biden family are a bunch of crooks. And they're not your regular kind of crooks. They're greedy crooks. Because they spend the money faster than they get it. This has been a problem for that family for the longest time. There's this great book on the subject of what it takes, about the 88 race.
Yeah.
And the story that they tell about the Biden family, of how he left his own parents to go with his uncle because his uncle had more money, and how he's just, his whole life, and it's in the blood, his greed. His kids got it, Hunter got it, they all got it.
You'd think with all that graft he could get some new dentures.
Dude, America got it.
Dude, they got him. That's part of the story too. Is so they all got their teeth done and they didn't even pay the dentist. Like the level of greed in these Bidens.
They didn't pay the dentist.
You don't know that story?
I didn't know that.
They offered him a settlement of half the money. The dentist had to take it. Like these people
Ooh,
are.
that is white trash right there.
So
and I know of what I speak.
And it's
Not
so bad
paying your dentist.
because like the amount of money these people cleared, like that Hunter cleared, like the guy is on crack. He doesn't know what he's doing with an energy company, but he's on the board of one. But like the amount of money selling those paintings, the people who bought those paintings knew what they were getting. It's the same thing Hunter was always selling, is access to the vice president/president, right?
You know, Hunter's looking at that $8 billion like, damn. Should have shot
Exactly.
my earlier.
Yeah.
He was
I
like,
got
why didn't
nailed.
I start some
I
group
can't
in
believe
Minnesota?
I can't believe they bested me.
I should have had the Somali autism group.
But the thing, the reason to explain all the greed of the Bidens is
Sounds offensive, but it's just true.
It's true. What it is.
That part's just true.
the reason for this whole backstory and how greedy the Bidens is they've spent all the money. They spent all that money, and now there's no way for them to keep it going. They thought they could keep this gravy train going. Well, everyone in the world saw that Biden is off his rocker. He couldn't even run for president again. So you would think that, okay, at this point, after a lifelong career in politics, this is when you go retire, you know, you fade, you spend your time with your grandkids and whatever. But he can't. He's the only way this family can make money.
no.
So they have to drag this guy out to events like this where, I mean, come on,
dude,
dude.
it's
I
got-
wouldn't want a guy who can barely finish words like that standing, let alone speaking at an event. I'd be like, dude,
it's
you
true.
need to get a seat.
Dude, I mean, that's why I wanted to replay the clip, is because it's the LGBTQ plus Victory Institute, right? I've never heard of this outfit, and it is what it is. Maybe it's like it has money or whatever. But like, think of the analog for a Republican president speaking at a group.
Yep.
Right.
Like, what's the LGBTQRSLUV Institute Victory, whatever? analog of like imagine George W. Bush standing there.
Dude, that's
like
a
you
great
just
example.
you can't do it. And the fact that this guy is now reduced to that, I think underscores your whole point.
Did you see and on this line? So like the left essentially, when earlier we went into, Duncan was talking about how like Doge called out all these NGOs that essentially fund the left and they were getting taxpayer money, but the left is entirely funded by NGOs, whether they're Soros groups or they're overseas money like Hans-Jörg Wyss. And then you think about like there's no analog of like groups like that for like a former Republican president to show up to. But speaking of former like candidates, did you see that Hillary Clinton was speaking at that Doha, Qatar?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
She was one of the speakers there. Like, this is just what they do. Like, I would not be surprised if the Netflix checks stop coming if you don't see Barack Obama start showing up to these kind of things. You know, because this is essentially their like retirement plan. Is, well, someone's got to pay me millions of dollars.
Well, and every time they put him out there, it's a high. I mean, I guess it's not a high risk prospect because no one cares how he performs anymore.
Yeah.
But you do get these clips.
Yeah.
And it's like
it's never good.
You might as well put Major Biden out there and see how it goes.
Yeah, but poor.
Is that the dog?
That's the dog.
That's the biting.
The rehomed Major Biden.
Joe
Betrayed by the Bidens, just like the rest of us were.
He needs the book deal. I want to know
would
the
love
dog
to hear
story.
Major's story.
But Joe Biden has to go out there and still, sing for his supper to some extent because, like Smug was saying, like it's Biden Inc. Like these people have to make money, but it does leave you wondering, like, where is the Biden presidential library? Is it just going to be a strip mall in Wilmington?
Yeah,
I mean, like who's out there giving money to Joe Biden?
Nobody's raising money for that. We're gonna hear in like 2050, they've just broken ground on the Biden library, right?
It's actually just a cafe car and a cellar.
Oh yeah.
No, they should just be honest and just like be like, we're the cafe in the Obama library.
Oh,
it was all the fourth, fifth tier people from the
so
Obama
sad.
campaign who worked on. Just like give them the be like the Joe Biden Presidential Library and Cafe inside the Barack Hussein Obama Library.
So normally here on the program we're a little nervy about getting into areas of misogyny because of the makeup of the panel. But we found something here because you're here.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, that I think is a good jumping off point.
Might mess with your brand to even admit you guys are worried about it.
Well, when I say worried, it doesn't mean that we don't do it.
That's how winners play. Okay.
Can we play clip 5, please?
Hey, Pantone. You're fired.
What?
You really chose white? You chose white? In these times?
In these times.
Mm-hmm. You're fired. Mm-hmm. This is Katie Rogers Feng Shui. I know the danger of that kind of messaging.
She's
and I'm not
burning
having
swatches.
it.
She's burning
I'm not
color
having it.
swatches.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Really, 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 really bad choice.
So all right, hold on. I got to contextualize this.
Yeah.
So
Good
what you were
Lord.
watching for our audio-only listener is this liberal woman who is boycotting Pantone because they have chose Cloud Dancer, quote unquote, as their color of the year. Now, Cloud Dancer, I think probably is denoted by the name, is in a white of some kind. Now,
It says, quote, a lofty white neutral whose aerated presence acts as a whisper of calm and peace in a noisy world.
Yeah, which...
it was a bridge too far for this lady. She's like, I'm going to show up to Home Depot. I'm going to grab these like paint swatches. I'm going to set them on fire because this is me. It's time to go big on TikTok with this. Incredible.
So, MK, your floor.
Well, God, this is embarrassing. Ladies, pull it together. Pull it together, particularly because she's got a southern accent like my friend.
I know.
You must have some girlfriends who can tell you not to do this. It's just a color. It's science. Like, it's the absence of, it's like they just formulate a color.
Right.
It's not a big deal. I don't think this personality type is about calm and peace. So perhaps that was the thing that set her off.
Yeah, that could be.
I support this woman. I actually support her. I want to know why. I mean, a couple of things. Number
He's
one,
bringing back the suburban woman vote right now. Here we go.
Cloud Dancer sounds like a character from Dances with Wolves.
Oh, you're anti-Pantone, is your point.
I'm anti-Pantone. If a woman could explain to me the difference between eggshell and cream, I would be supportive of this. But you know what? I can't. I down with Pantone. Because as every husband has experienced at one time in their domestic life, you're greeted with a color palette from your significant other, and you look at two colors that are the exact fucking same.
Exact same.
And you're being told to pick one, and I can't pick.
No.
This is a green gray, and this is a blue gray.
If this was...
This white has pink undertones, and this one has blue undertones.
And also the white. You know? I mean, first of all, I thought it was a prohibition to get into the race talk when you say white. If you say white, you generally want to avoid the conversation.
If you say white like Boss Hog, you need to not be on camera.
It's the hard H.
I never thought that you would get into any of this if you say white. But anyway, what they've done, so choosing, this is some more color commentary on that, choosing the color white during this social and political climate really says something. Jason Rhee, a designer and creative at Refined Company, commented on the Instagram.
Wow.
Per NPR.
Per NPR.
NPR's dutifully
They're
writing
on
this
it.
up. Yeah, right? They're like, ooh, there looks like some racially divisive
Let's get
things
an
over
expert
paints.
on racially divisive color tones. It's like, this is insane. If you there's a New York Times sort of roundup where they ask their very in touch with real things staff how they feel about the picking of the white color. And it is like reading a satirical play. Someone should put it on stage.
Incredible.
Because they're just, each one of them is just noodling about how this is very problematic. And I'm like, what?
I'd honestly like to meet the writer who is locked in the basement of the Pantone Corporation, who described a white as lofty white neutral whose aerated presence acts as a whisper of calm and peace in a noisy world.
No.
That's a creative person.
Yeah.
I like that guy. But what he didn't do is go, whisper. If he said whisper, then it would just cat's out the bag at that point. That's just full-blown racism.
I think he threw aerated in there for the boys. It's like, reminds you of your lawn.
Yeah. That's it. I heard aerated, and I was like, well, I think that might be a better choice.
You can exit the conversation immediately upon hearing aerated and be like, you know what? I forgot I got some grass I got to take care of.
Got to do it twice a year.
You got one more quote here that we got to get to. In a moment when color is used to express culture,
come on,
diversity, emotion, and innovation, choosing a white-based shade feels tone-deaf at best, they continue. At worst, it unintentionally aligns with cultural and political symbolism that many of us find deeply troubling.
So weird.
Deeply troubling.
It's such a weird take. It's just extremely weird. It's like the same thing they did with Sydney Sweeney, where they're like, you're talking about blue jeans in this moment.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
They would argue this is a trend. That's what they would say. We've been violated in a trend.
It's all white supremacy.
I mean, it's like they can't get out of 2020. They can't.
It's a color swatch. Like if you go to your Home Depot or whatever, you're looking at a list of paints. The idea that one of these paints is racist is wild.
I mean, that's a
wild thing.
And the problem they will continue to struggle with is that their demand for white supremacy far outstrips supply. And that's why we're stuck with these kind of stupid things.
I still have to hold women in general and MK particularly accountable for this. And that is, I still want to know, MK, what is the difference between eggshell and cream?
Well,
Please explain.
I would guess that cream is a little bit more of has a mauvey tint, and eggshell is, I don't know, something akin to linen.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
You know, I actually did pick white for my room one time for a bedroom, and it was comical. Like, I had like 16 whites. I just finally just like threw a dart at the board and was like, that's fine.
It's amazing. It's like a superpower that she's got, though.
Yeah.
You know? It's like all women are born with it.
No, a bunch of women are going to fact check me and be like, girl, that ain't like linen. Shut your ignorant mouth.
No. That's white.
Oh, that girl needs better girlfriends.
I know.
Tell her not to do that.
So, we're regular consumers of all of your content.
Are you?
We are.
I feel that I'm about to get Tim Russerded.
No, you're not going to get Tim Russerded at all. But because we are regular consumers, couldn't help but notice your show out today had a clip that we took some interest in. Clip 5A.
So as a programming note, we will be doing one a week. And the wise folks over at Ruthless said to me, gave me some wisdom and said, look, you got these people who listen to the podcast and it feels like they're chatting with friends and they like having you and Vic in their lives, and like, don't give that up, don't. So we had a break and we're not passing on it. So once a week for now, we will do our best for y'all.
Well, it is a delight to have such wise counsel, isn't it?
I really did take that to heart because you guys said you've built something. Don't walk away from it, right? And people enjoy this, and you enjoy the people listening. And so Vic and I are back with Getting Hammered for once a week, and there will be opportunities for you guys to listen and to help me out to keep this old train running.
Also,
I
that
was
title
inspired
is
by
like
you
too
guys.
good to let go for any reason.
Yeah.
Getting Hammered is like, you got to keep that forever.
I got to get Duncan in the sweatshop working on some gear for me.
Oh, yeah, no, he can knit like nobody's business. But look, I think this is important. We talked a lot about this stuff, and all of us have sort of made career decisions in the last year that are pursuing, something like this. But it is something that we shared in common, is that, like, you genuinely enjoy interaction with the audience and understanding where they're at in life and politics, and maybe there's an escape component of having this conversation. And you just had that. You had that locked. And I'm so glad that you decided to get back and start doing this.
Thank you. I'm very excited. I mean, it's a pleasure to do this work with your friends, right?
Yeah,
I get to do
totally.
normally with Carol Markowitz. Now I get to do Getting Hammered with Vic, and it's just like a blast. And why would I pass on that?
Why would you pass
So I'm
on
looking forward to building back up and get some gear out there, maybe some premium content, and not that kind, guys.
You're wearing some great gear here in studio.
Well, I like to keep it subtle around playoff time.
Yeah.
With my.
Yeah, no, it's very subtle.
Your Georgia gear.
You also had a stocking cap that you came in.
Yes.
There was nothing subtle about that bright red Georgia.
Nothing subtle about it at all. You know what? I'm excited.
should
I
be.
will say, I come in here every December, and I'm not exactly sure why, but I always end up here in December. So I've been here after a couple heartbreakers in the SEC championship, notably against Alabama. And I will like to say, because I have criticisms for other teams, I would like to say that I've been there. I have been hurt by the Bama bias. Yeah. And I believe I said on this show, this very show, I said, you know what? There might be a little Bama bias in 2023 when we were 13-1 and didn't get into the 4-team playoff. There might be a little recency bias, but you got to play the games in front of you, and you got to win them in order to prove it. There's always going to be cusp teams, and they're always
totally.
Don't stop throwing tantrums.
That's right.
I feel like you're sort of like directing some of that at South Bend.
Yeah, I'm like shadow tweeting them. No, I just think I do think for the survival of college football, if I may get a little bit
please, let's
soapboxy
go.
here, you need coaches who are interested and players who are interested in loving the game and playing the game.
Yeah.
I know it's a business. I want it to be a business. They deserve to get paid. They're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And also, they need to be developed. They need to play when they have the chance. You need people who like this sport.
Yes.
Or else the sport just becomes the business.
Yeah, so obviously what MK is talking about is a college football playoff, of which we follow very closely here at the Ruthless Variety program. And, of course, they came out with their 12-team playoff. And there was a big discussion about who deserves to be in, who deserves not to be in. There's a bunch of rules, some of which are esoteric, about automatic qualifying and whatnot. And it turns out there were 10 teams that are you've got conference winners of FCC, SEC, and Big Ten, and then you've got basically 8 left that are at large. And it came down to a big decision between Miami and Notre Dame. Notre Dame had won 10 straight going in, but had lost to Miami. Mm-hmm. They had the same record. Miami gets in, Notre Dame's out. It is the first time in my lifetime, old man, where Notre Dame has been on the outside looking in on anything dealing with college football.
I'm going to say something very controversial. Join a conference.
Yeah.
Join a conference. I understand you have this
Many people are saying
illustrious history. It dates back 100 years, but college football has changed.
Yeah.
And the playoff has changed it too. And I understand you got a TV contract with NBC, and you guys control your destiny in a lot of ways, but I mean, like half the games and half of the rivalries you have are already with the Big Ten at this point, like USC, Michigan State, Michigan, like Ohio State. Like, just join the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Just join the Big Ten, Notre Dame. I love you. I love your independence, and I love the heritage of the whole thing. But I just find it the crying annoying. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate mail about that. I just don't care. I say this in love. This is somebody from Indiana. But just join the conference, and I think you're going to be in a better situation as it relates to the new era of college football with the college football playoff. I mean, it seems obvious.
Well, I say it as somebody who's been burned the exact same way, but worse.
Yeah.
You got to just
I don't disagree with
play the
you.
game.
I don't disagree with you. I think they should join a conference, but I think what Duke learned is that winning a conference isn't enough to get to the tournament. I think what Vanderbilt learned is being a part of a conference and having a winning record isn't enough to get to the tournament. When you have teams like Tulane in the final tournament, you're not having the best teams in the country in that tournament. I don't care if it's Texas or Vanderbilt or Notre Dame or maybe BYU or Utah. There are teams that are better than Tulane who didn't make it.
Yeah,
and I think they've got to figure out a way to expand it. I think they've got to.
I don't think you can expand it because we're talking about football. We're not talking about basketball. This is
maybe cancel the conference championships.
No, you're never going to do that. I mean, people would love to have that as a hypothetical here, but like, let's look at the reality of college football. Like, we used to determine this by computers, and we used to determine it with a 4-team playoff, and so there's a lot of fans who will see this as an improvement. Vanderbilt has an argument, but like at the end of the day, you're part of a conference in which you were not the top 3 or 4 teams in that conference. They played really well, especially down the stretch. They won that game at Knoxville. I thought it was fantastic. Yeah. If I had my druthers, Diego Pavia and that team would be in the college football playoff because I think it's electric.
Yeah.
But the reality is like, do you really have can you make a qualm with being left out? And I just think in an expanded playoff that we have now, when you're the 4th or the 5th team in a conference, like you can't really cry about not getting in. You just can't. And you had a lot of opportunities on the field to be that. Like if they won that game in overtime against Texas and Austin, they'd have an argument. But
they would be in if they won that game.
Well, and this is what the Vandy coach said. He was like, look, we had our opportunities and we didn't prove it. And there's always going to be a cusp team.
Yeah.
There's always going to be one.
Yep.
And they're always going to bitch. And the fan base is going to bitch. But you do have to just like, excuse my language, sack up and play the football.
Yeah. So you like the Bulldogs' chances here?
Hey, I feel good.
Yeah.
We're playing our best ball going in to the playoff.
Totally.
So,
looked real good on Saturday.
Yeah.
There was a very funny Alabama fan account that said, them dogs ain't ready before the game began.
Yeah.
And then just retweeted himself with, they were ready.
I saw that. It's good content.
Yeah. The people I was watching with don't understand my trauma. So in the fourth quarter, when they score 1 touchdown, I was like, oh my God.
You're like, this is it.
Oh my God.
We're going down.
Here it goes.
Yeah. Tua Tagovailoa is coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Is there a backup quarterback? They say there isn't.
Totally. Oh, this is awesome. I love talking football and everything else with you. Mary Katharine Ham, you can find her basically anywhere. Getting Hammered, back online, and your other one, Normal.
Normally. Normally and Getting Hammered. Just listen, show up, like, subscribe.
Yeah.
Give us reviews.
And you can always...
I mean, not bad ones.
You mentioned earlier that you come in here every December, and I couldn't help but notice you have something.
Yes, I do try to bring a gift for you guys. And the thing is, I keep having to try to outdo myself, and I don't think I can outdo the Journo Advent Calendar.
There's no way you can do that.
That one,
it's a 10 out of 10. It's still up in our office.
I'm so glad. And, it can be used every year.
Yes.
Is the thing. But I did get you a present. I believe before that it was the brooch from the from the house.
Right. That's exactly right.
Okay, so I do have one this time, which I cooked up this week for you guys, and let me present it.
What do we have? What do we have here?
It's a beautiful frame. Hold on.
Oh my goodness!
Look at this.
Oh,
this is perfect.
So these are some commemorative stamps that I had made.
Just for Smug.
This is...
And his love of the post office.
This is so perfect. This is the most accurate depiction I've ever seen. It says, for our audio-only listeners, there's one that says, U.S. postage, rotten to the core, accurate. The other one, which is the truth, just use the kiosk, U.S. postage. That is the official... slogan of the USPS at this point.
One more thing I must share, because I did make an extra one, which was I believe you said monsters live there.
That is the story.
The idea that they live at the post office.
Like Keebler elves.
And there's one more that is so stupid, because I asked ChatGPT to make the new stupid vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It couldn't do it.
It can't?
It couldn't do it. It actually glitched out and told me you're right. Because I was like, you're doing this wrong. It doesn't look anything like the thing. And he's like, yeah, it keeps normalizing it, and it doesn't look the way it should. And I was like, it needs to be much more retarded.
Yeah, it's got to be.
And this was the best it came up with.
Look at that box fan. It's got it's all sideways.
It was so bad that the ChatGPT just glitched out and was like, nah, I can't do it.
And it looks like it came. The end result of what ChatGPT did is like one of those Chinese kids cartoons,
right?
Yeah.
Right, with that's like the talking truck with the sideways front. I love that. That is so good.
So.
Well, I
There
mean,
you go.
it's a way to our heart. Of course, this guy's heart. He just hates.
And don't forget it, folks. Let them know when you go to the post office. If they tell you to use the kiosk, you let them know. Then what's your job, buddy?
You think you gave us a gift, and Smug's just going to take that home with him.
I know. It's office decor, okay?
Monsters live there.
Like they all live in the
That's what he said. It was like the monsters live there.
I love that. Well, thank you so much,
Thank you for
MK.
having
It's
me.
great to have you. And we've got a zookeeper and a bear that are going 3 rounds in China, and also a man who pounded 33 drinks on a Carnival cruise.
Oh boy.
Oof. It's none of this stuff. You're going to want to stick around and hear about it right after this. Okay, welcome back to the Ruthless Variety program. I had promised some good ship and cruise information, and we're going to get to that. I do want to be very specific because integrity is important to us here on the program.
Sure is.
Royal Caribbean. It wasn't a Carnival cruise.
I can understand though why you might consider some of these things on a Carnival cruise line, given the nature of the story.
At times, they do get
They have a
confusing.
reputation.
They do.
At times.
They do. At times. Well, this one. But you're going to want to be very specific about that kind of thing, which is why I corrected it when we get to this next story. A royal, and this is according to the New York Post, a Royal Caribbean cruise passenger was served 33 drinks before he died in custody. Wow. Lawsuit.
My God. So I don't want to laugh at someone dying, but it's just like 33 drinks, bro, was going for gold.
Yeah. Well, let me get to this story, then. I want your reaction. Don't hold back on this. I mean, we're going to pretend to be, completely offended by a guy having 33 drinks and bad things happening. I don't want it here on the
Who could have
program.
guessed
Just open up the canister. Let's
that
go.
would end in badly.
Yeah,
33 drinks.
So the death of the Royal Caribbean passenger has been ruled a homicide after crew members allegedly served him nearly 3 dozen drinks at the ship's bar before he died, according to a new lawsuit. Michael Virgil, 35, was served 33 drinks. I mean,
that's a lot.
Dude, they itemized it, so it's not like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, man, I must have had 33 drinks. It's like, no, he actually did have 33 drinks. Anyway, at one of the ship's bars on the day he died in December 2024, according to a wrongful death lawsuit that's recently been filed by his fiancée and obtained by TMZ. Virgil was detained during the drunken rage in which he... We'll get to the rage in a second. In which he allegedly attacked and threatened to kill crew members and passengers.
Jeez.
But he died within hours of being restrained and taken into custody by the cruise ship security, according to the lawsuit, with Virgil's family initially alleging that they injected him with a sedative, which killed him. A year later, the family is still standing by that claim in their new lawsuit and said that Virgil's cause of death was changed to homicide. Legal papers show.
So they're saying it
that's
wasn't
tough.
the drinking. They gave him some sort of injection.
That's the allegation. Virgil had boarded a Mexican-bound cruise with his fiancée and 7-year-old autistic son when they were told their room wasn't
such a
ready.
tough situation.
Their fateful day. Crew members directed them to a bar. That's just unbelievable. Like, first of all, it's a fucking cruise ship. Like, what do you mean your room's not ready? It's a cruise ship, right?
Yeah.
Aren't they all ready when you show up?
I thought when you showed up, the rooms were ready. Like, what is that?
Yes,
like a
not
process?
Also, there's something to be said about that. Like,
Is it like boarding an airplane where like the passengers have to come off and then they have to clean the?
I mean, how horrific.
The whole service, like planes are never clean on time. If you go to a hotel and they tell you your room's not ready, be like, so what is it you do around here? Because I'm the guy who shows up to stay in the room. It's your job to have the room ready. Like, one of us did our job today. You got the money, didn't you?
No, dude, I'm with you on this, and I'll take a
It's
hard
hard to
line on the
argue.
cruises. Now, you completely understand why you have, like, poop boats and norovirus and all that kind of shit if this all kind
Literally.
of thing's going on. Guy shows up, gets on his cruise with his wife and kid, and they're like, your room's not ready? Go to the bar? He was like, the bar I will. Bar I will. So he directed him to the bar, but when their son grew restless, Virgil's wife took him to check on their room.
Usually when you're at the bar and you have 33 drinks, the kids start getting restless.
They do. I mean, midway,
What?
at least 15
It's like
deep.
I pull up to the bar with my 7-year-old, and I'm about 33 deep, and he starts giving me a hard time.
I know my sons tend to get ticked off when I get between 12 and 14. Typically.
Right? Like, that's a patient child. If you've cracked the 30s, you got a patient kid.
Yeah.
It's like, Dad, usually I let you have 25.
Hey, go walk the kid. Go walk the kid. So she goes, it was during the time, he stayed right there, though. He was committed.
It's just me and my boy,
Yeah, it was.
If I'm going for 30, I want my kid to see.
It was. I don't want my kid to see.
Dad's a champion.
Once I
We're
break
going for
25,
30.
nobody should see this. I don't remember Dad like this. It was during that time that he was allegedly served the booze and he broke into a rage. Oh, hold on. Hold on.
They had to pepper spray him.
But hold on. They're claiming that when the kid and the wife was there, that wasn't booze. Because if you read the way that reads, it says after the Virgil's wife took him to check out of the room while he remained at the bar, it was during that time he was allegedly served the booze. So it was after his wife left that he had 33 drinks.
Wait, no, really? Is that the timeline? Is that the Sears timeline?
That's what that
So it says
sentence
when their
reads.
son grew restless, Virgil's wife took him to check. And
It
when they
could
do
be,
this,
it could be a paraphrase
Yeah,
of
that's
what
the thing.
their interpretation is. From
Well,
the
whatever it was, he broke into a rage when he left the bar, extremely inebriated, and he couldn't find his room. Well, it wasn't awarded to him yet, so footage from the
Bro,
cruise.
finding the door to the place after 33 is a fucking accomplishment, let alone back to your room.
Dude, he was ready to go. And honestly, where's the staff to find his room?
Right.
At that point. Like, don't make the man look.
Right. Take him to the
After
infirmary.
33? No, can you imagine, by the way, the bartender's like, yeah, sure.
Dude, also, I'm not a lawyer. I'm a
Think
former
about it.
bouncer. All right. When I was in college, I was a bouncer at a bar, and we were told you have to be, like, a number of times in the hiring process and constantly reminded, like, you have to be extremely careful how much you serve people. Because if someone gets into a car accident or something, like, the police come looking for your ass. After 33, like, let's say after 25. Let's say, I'm a standard bartender. I draw the line at 25 drinks. Like, how many like, this guy's got to be sitting on a mountain of glasses. At what point are you trying to, like, do them in yourself? Like, what is it like, I can't see over the mountain of empties over you? Are you sure? Like, who's ordering these drinks, this mountain of empties?
Okay. So before we want to throw this all on the bartenders, we should point out the fact that footage from the cruise caught Virgil attempting to batter down a door after he'd allegedly attacked crew members and threatened to kill passengers.
Yeah, well, he had 33 drinks. What do you think is going to happen?
Okay, but don't we believe in personal responsibility in this country?
We do, but 33, I feel like you know what's happening.
It should be a rule that if you can crack 33, you get to drive the boat. Do you think like, that's a mission. That's a high number. Like, I've gotten up there, maybe to 33 in my life, and like that's like Cal Ripken Jr. Iron Man shit. But like,
it is.
33 drinks?
No, it is.
Dude, here it goes on. It goes on. When he was eventually detained, his fiancée alleges, quote, the excessive force and fatal actions taken by crew members, including security and medical personnel, who, quote, administered an injection of a sedative medication, haloperidol, and used multiple cans of pepper spray, close quote, led to his death, according to the lawsuit.
Well, so, I mean, I can understand the pepper spray.
You empty it, and then you got to be like, yo, grab another, dude. Like you're seasoning the guy. He's got 33 beers and 2 cans of pepper.
What? He just took down 33 drinks and 2 cans of pepper. He's fucking pissed.
Yeah,
Get the shot.
I think you got to use live rounds at that point, to be honest.
You know,
It's every man for himself. You got a mutiny on your hands. This thing is going south.
You know what this reminds me of that famous story of Wade Boggs on that transatlantic flight.
That was 52, I think.
52 beers.
Yeah.
And then he went 3 for 5 the next day.
Yeah, he just needed a bucket of chicken. He was all set.
Yeah.
And so that is a heroic story, because I remember hearing about that from a buddy of mine, an Irishman. If anyone knows how to drink, it's these fucking Irish people. But he told me this Wade Boggs. He told me this Wade Boggs story when I was going to be flying across the Atlantic, and I did my best Like, I hunkered down. I ate a big meal before I got on there, and I put myself in the zone of, like, how much can I drink? And I knew I was going to drink so much I wouldn't remember where I was or anything. And I was like, you know the airplane bottle that they serve you?
What an aspiration. By the way, you sit down and you're like, you know what? Tonight is the night. You're all going to have a problem on your hands.
And the thing is, so, like, I documented this on Twitter because I every airplane bottle I drank, I put it in my pocket. Because, like, if you have them all on your tray in front of you, eventually the stewardess is going to cut you off. But, like, you know, if they keep bringing them.
And this is how the guy got to 33.
No, I got to 23, and I didn't know where I was. 23 on a transatlantic. I think I did that in like 6 hours, right?
Also, in an airline, much worse.
And so
from air pressurization.
I landed at JFK. I was so drunk, I forgot I had even been doing this. And so, like, I pull up to, like, customs, right? And they were like, all right, you got to, like, empty your pockets. And then I put, there's the photos up on Twitter from this. I put them out there. I've got handfuls of empties. And the guy's like, what the fuck happened to you? so that's
You're like, what? I thought this was America.
That's 23. And this dude hit 33 is unbelievable.
Well, it didn't go well. And so there's a lawsuit that's pending. Rest assured, Ruthless listeners, we will stay on top of this story. We want to get to the bottom of this. Has this man been murdered?
Yeah, in your unprofessional opinion, all of us, we'll go across the board. This is not legal advice. You think the guy is to blame, or the people who shot him and peppered him?
The shot is I want to take a look at that.
Yeah, that's what I would want to read what the contraindications are of the haloperidol and how
like Waffle House. This guy, he's like peppered and smothered. Some hash browns.
I'm torn here because I'm at one point Waffle House him. Dude,
smothered and covered.
Dude, I'm torn because there's a legal analysis in which I think that the shot plays a big role here. But I'm also, the spirit of the law type thing is that if you have 33 drinks and then you get up and start trying to kill people and you go through 2 cans of pepper spray.
What are they supposed to do?
Allegedly. Like if all those things are happening, like what are your options as a crew member at that point?
Yeah.
Like it feels like your hands are sort of tied.
I feel like the reputation essentially on a cruise ship, it's like, people are getting diseases. There's always brawls breaking out. It's like there's no rules on this. So if you're like in international waters at this point, it's just like a PvP server. Like everyone's out for blood. So just comes with the territory.
It's a good question. Where is the lawsuit? It doesn't tell us where the lawsuit is being filed.
Yeah.
But that's a good question. International waters, like
there's
where
no
does
rules,
this
dude.
thing? I don't know.
People die, you throw them overboard.
I don't know. That's why we're
that's what they do.
This shit's dark.
Throw them overboard.
This is a dark.
I'm pretty sure you can't do that.
You give them the Bin Laden funeral. Adios.
Hey, where's my dad? I don't know. He had 33 drinks. We tossed him starboard. I mean, it's totally messed up. Crazy story. All right, animal. You guys want some animal fighting?
Always. Yeah.
So the animal, I know where this is headed before I even start. But apparently in China, they got a real problem with zookeepers. Clip 7, please. Whoa! It's a black bear for our audio.
Dude, he is going in on the zookeeper.
The black bear is taking down a zookeeper with people onlooking, by the way.
She's going after with the basketball. Are you kidding?
Wait a second. There's a basketball hoop involved. Foreign objects everywhere. There's a chair. He's got a stick. They're pounding on the thing.
It's now officially WWE. There's a hawk.
Did they try to bring
No,
it's a parrot.
He's got a parrot? No way.
He was chewing the guy's arm off.
Dude, this is the best video I've ever seen.
I would pay money to see this.
Oh, he's going back at it.
Oh, the guy, but he doesn't want out of it. The guy wants to be a
Dude,
part of it.
why would you be there?
And the fucking parrot's still involved. They handed it off. Dude.
That's it right there. That's the best video clip.
It's the best clip we've ever played.
This is why you subscribe to the YouTube.
We have to see that. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we have witnessed here on the Ruthless Variety program that came in cold to the hosts is the single greatest animal fighting video that has ever been played on the Ruthless Variety program. There is a bear that is attacking a zookeeper and fellow zookeepers come in with a basketball hoop, a chair, a long stick, and a parrot.
A parrot, dude.
Well, that's the thing that really surprises me here is you got a guy with a stick, you got a guy with the basketball hoop, and you've got a guy with a chair, and then the guy who's literally holding a giant parrot is like, "Let me get involved. Let's see how I can help." Like, what are you doing?
But dude, it's not just a basketball hoop; it's a full like backboard.
Yeah. Oh,
did they just tear the backboard down?
I don't know.
What are they thinking?
I don't. But
It looked like one of those pool basketball hoop
I don't
situations.
know. No, there was a pole. It looked like
there
half
was
of the
can
hoop.
look at it. No, it's a pole.
Dude,
it's a pole.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, he's got a full. They look like they tore down a hoop.
Where it adjusts.
And this guy's trying to use the rim of the hoop to get it around the head.
Where's a guy with the
chair?
trench gun?
Honestly, not a bad idea.
Yeah.
And it's a built-in
And
shield.
this guy like light taps with the big bamboo cane. By the way,
The guy on the cruise got 2 full faces full of pepper spray,
and there's
this
not for
bear
this.
gets nothing.
Let me tell you, we did not have that problem in America because Harambe was taken out the right way.
That's right. That's 100% right.
They didn't go after Harambe with a stick and a parrot and a basketball hoop.
Why are you saying Harambe? It's Harambe.
Harambe. He was about to kill a 4-year-old kid, and they took it.
He was
100%.
They
was
shot
about
that
to
monkey.
kill the
He
kid.
deserved it.
He was about to kill a kid, and they took care of him.
Where to start?
I don't. The parrots throw me off here.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the
That's the thing. Is like
possible-
when the dude showed up with the chair, I was like, "This is just like WWE." And then a parrot rolls up. I was like,
it's the wildest thing. And then there are onlookers, which, by the way, play it. If you can see the fence that's separating the onlookers from the wild bear, the parrot, and all these people, it's jumpable.
If I'm being honest, I would not leave. This is the show you always want to see.
This is like no. This
if
is
you have
what
to
you
show
came
up
for.
to a zoo because
I mean,
everyone
the
knows.
bear's going in for a single leg takedown, by the way. This bear has an incredible technique.
I also think that the guy who is like the main sort of victim of this, he was down on his back at one point, gets off, they get him off of him, watch him go right back in for the bear.
Yeah.
He goes right back in for the bear. Now he's going to grab him by the scruff of the neck. It's a fucking bear. What are you doing? You're not picking up a puppy.
But look at I love the crowd is still just watching because that's what it's about. This is cinema. Like I would pay double to go to a zoo if I'm guaranteed every 30 minutes they put a zookeeper out there to face off.
You know what? You raise Smug, dude. I would. You raise an important point. Do we think there's a chance that there's like a kayfabe aspect to this? Because as we know in China, they don't care about their people.
No,
they put them in danger just for the money.
I think the best.
This should be like a show. Like you put 5 zookeepers in. One of them's gonna get like whatever the yuan gets 100,000 yuan if you survive the bear. I would watch that game show constantly.
The best argument for your point of view of a kayfabe is the light touch with the bamboo pole that the guy's got on the bear. Like you could do some damage with that bad boy, and he's just kind of stroking the back of it a little. Like look at this guy. This guy right here. He's got,
and the one with the
that.
stool, what did you bring the stool for? You're not going on him with the chair.
And the guy's got the parrot.
Dude, the parrot is just incredible.
I mean, you know what, dude? I don't think it's kayfabe. When he pulled his arm away, the sleeve was ripped and it looked pretty red.
Oh my God, you're right, dude. The parrot's like, why did you bring me here?
Well, it's like Paulie just wanted a fucking cracker.
Yeah.
What am I doing in this middle of this?
I want to know what precipitated all of this because typically black bears aren't the aggressive bears.
Sure.
They are. Yeah, they are for
and
sure.
that looked like a cub more than a fully grown black
Maybe
bear.
they thought they could handle it.
I think that's what I'm saying.
And they couldn't.
They couldn't.
They could not. Well,
incredible video. Great poll.
Great poll. Remember, we're going to be hosting 2 Q&A episodes during this Christmas break. We want all of your questions. Start loading them in now, in addition to your responses to the question of the day, which was, what is Jasmine Crockett's campaign slogan going to be? I know you're going to be creative on that, but load up some questions. Keep them coming. We're going to take the best stuff. We're not avoiding anything, so anything you got, we're going to take it on. When you like and subscribe to the Ruthless Variety program, that's what you get. We read every single one of them. Remember our Christmas merch. Last public service announcement, the Christmas merch. You were adorned.
And there it is. There's that smug wrapping paper. That's like the number one seller.
I'm getting some for my family.
The number one seller.
I'm getting some for my family, but key important note for listeners and viewers of the Ruthless Variety program, order it by the 11th of December. because my carpal tunnel can't take it anymore.
Well, and more importantly, those post office trucks that we have talked about now for 3 straight episodes.
We want to ensure delivery.
They're looking
trouble.
for these packages.
And they're running a lot.
Duncan, let me ask you this.
Okay.
If they order by the 11th, are you willing to wrap their gifts for them in the smug paper?
I will. We'll get gift wrapping.
You'll go to their house.
Like they're at Macy's.
He's doing like a little
with the elaborate bow.
The big bow
Yeah.
on top.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. So anyway, that's what I got. Thank you for joining us. And with that, fellas, I think we did it.
I think so. Absolute banger of an episode, gentlemen. Thank you so much, MK, and thank you to the minions. Remember, if you have not yet, go to the YouTube, hit that subscribe because it's more fun in video. So until next time, minions, keep the faith, hold the line, and own the libs. We'll see you on Thursday. Stay ruthless.